In today's Tom Clancy's The Division 2 video, we're going to take another look at Foundry, because I just received some information from Reddit that Foundry repair procs on skills besides shields. Let's put this to the test and see how Foundry really works under the hood. What we find and the conclusions that we come to might actually surprise you, so stay tuned in this interesting investigation. Please join us and subscribe. We're really close to our 1,000 subscriber goal. Hey agents, it's Dispatch. Welcome to the channel, where we talk about the math, builds, lore, and game design of Tom Clancy's The Division 2. Let's get stuck into it. Before we get into this audacious claim, let's discuss how Foundry works at its core. The description reads that it only works with shields, but descriptions in The Division 2 are notoriously unreliable. Honestly, it never occurred to me to test it with other skills, so that's what we're going to do today. When you take damage to your body or your shield, Foundry will proc a repair that applies to both your armor and your shield. The repair is a percentage of the damage that you take and occurs continuously over 10 seconds, 5 if you are using the chest. Keep in mind that I just said continuous, like armor regen, which is better than the healing happening on a tick like most repair skills. Also keep in mind that because it is based on damage, this means that if your health gets damaged, this also counts. But the repair is only done to your armor, so it is possible to get your armor back up to full, but still be basically 1 health point. When you or your shield take damage, a little Foundry icon will appear in the usual location beneath your armor, health, and ammo counters, and it will have a little orange progress bar go across it, showing how much repair you have left before it runs out. Taking additional damage refreshes this bar, but you will get no indicator of the magnitude of the repair being given, other than seeing your armor bar fill up. The repair will keep going even as you are taking damage, like armor regen. It doesn't wait until you stop taking damage. Foundry doesn't repair all the damage that has been done to you. This makes it somewhat like a damage mitigation talent rather than a repair talent, similar to Protection from Elites. Protection from Elites technically doesn't do any repair, but it kinda does if you think about it. Much like Foundry, it requires taking damage to have any effect, and its effect is proportional to the damage you take. However, it procs immediately. If you had 10% protection from elites and take a 100 damage shot from an elite, it would only do 90 damage. Kinda like taking 100 damage but instantly repairing 10. It's also similar to Clutch, where you have to get a lot of damage taken for the repair to really shine. It also, of course, won't heal you for more than your armor bar. It won't give you extra armor. The only way to get that is with bonus armor from other talents. For using shields, at the very least, it does seem to work as intended. Sometimes the repair is super underwhelming. Other times, when you stack a lot of it, things start to get pretty crazy. There's no way for me to tell if it applies the healing to the shield. We can't damage our shield in the firing range, and the UI is just not good enough to see the repair with the granularity that we need to. I'm going to assume that it works and hope for the best. It is worth noting that if you use Vanguard or Perfect Vanguard, your shield does not take damage during the invincibility stage and therefore does not proc Foundry, so keep that in mind. I have tested this. So an astute gentleman on Reddit had a whole skill built around Foundry. He claimed that the mutual repair applies to other skills, not just shields. So when your turret, decoy, hive, drone, etc. take damage, that Foundry healing would apply to you and those skills like it would for a shield. This is not true. You can clearly see in the footage that our turret is getting blasted, but we don't see any accelerated healing, and we don't see the Foundry icon appear. The turret also clearly isn't getting a healing, as we can see from its armor bars. However, even though Foundry will work way better with shields than without, it is still possible that it'll still work good enough without a shield to be worth using. Let's hop on over to our spreadsheet and see how good it'll work both with and without a shield. Alright, so here we have the armor regen and baseline repair. We can adjust this to add some bellstone or what have you, no big deal, and can change our maximum armor. Here I have made a table of damage done to us and how much we will get healed. All of these tables, yes, there are multiple, and yes, they are so big that I can't show them all on screen at the same time. Anyway, all of these tables assume that we are losing every bit of armor we have each second. That, of course, shouldn't and won't happen, but this is trying to show the absolute maximum heals that we can get. So as soon as we repair some amount of damage, we immediately lose it and feed it into the repair for the next second. I don't think it's possible to lose 2 million armor in the first second of a fight, but we need to make assumptions here to see how well it can possibly work. If we mamby-pamby around, say that we only take 150,000 damage a second or something, we're going to see a lot of benefit from our armor regen, while hardly any from Foundry. Our table is parametrically linked so we can change the time of the repair and the amount of repair, including any other repairs like armor regen, to add to it. We can adjust the amount of armor remaining if we wish, so we don't lose all of our armor in one go. The first table shows our repair without a shield. The first column shows the time in seconds, then we have the armor remaining at that moment. The next column is the most important. It shows how much damage we have repaired from the last second, and therefore how much damage we can take in the next. Each previous second feeds into the repair of the next. As you can see, the repair builds up as we add more and more procs to our damage taken. However, once the repair from that first big shot stops, our repair drops off dramatically. So is it worth it to run Foundry without a shield? Well, we start at about 3.5% armor regen's worth of repair and go up to about 4.5% if we can somehow use it in this quote-unquote optimized way. From there we drop down to about 2% and lower. That's not great considering we're sacrificing 4 minor attributes and 4 brand bonuses. For context, Memento gives us 3% and Bellstone gives us 1%, and both of these would heal us up to full. So an armor regen build will be much better in this scenario. Alright, now let's incorporate a shield. For this table, I assume that a shield would take twice as much damage as our armor, except for the first second. Now the repair is starting to cook. We're going from 120,000 to 247,000 repair to both our shield and our armor, which is about 6 to 12%. And after the first repair drops off, we get a pretty large drop off, but it builds back up again slowly. Now let's take a look at the last table. This time, after the first chunk of damage, the shield is going to take 500,000 damage every single second. So our shield is taking 2 million damage the first, and then 500,000 after that. If we were using a Crusader shield, this might be a little dicey, as it's got 5.3 million health at skill tier 6 and with the Foundry shield health buff. So we'd last a little over 3 seconds, maybe. As you can see, our repair is drastically higher, going up into the 400,000 range. As we increase the damage that our shield is taking, we are getting higher and higher repair. I'm not going to do the math with the Liberty or the Artificer. Suffice to say, with either of these, you can get insane levels of repair. Foundry really is the ultimate in terms of survivability when using a shield. Nothing else allows you to take some of the survivability from your shield and spread it to your body as well. So to wrap things up here, does Foundry repair proc on non-shield skills? No. Is Foundry worth running without a shield? No. Is Foundry worth running with a shield? This is debatable. Since there are no threat or tanking mechanics in this game where you can draw aggro from enemies, probably not. But if you want to feel invincible, nothing else gives you the amount of damage, soak, and repair as Foundry, especially when paired with the Artificer Hive, Liberty Pistol, or Healer. So that's all I got for today, agents. Let me know what you thought of my methodology and if you're going to be running Foundry now that you know more. Like the video if you like me doing more maths. If you don't like the video, hit the thumbs down. Subscribe so you don't miss another upload, and if you want to support more in-depth content like this. Until next time, agents, this has been Dispatch. Take care out there.